John Kramer, the original Jigsaw. John Kramer, or as horror fans know him, Jigsaw, isn't your average movie villain. He's not out there just slicing people up for fun. He's more like a messed up life coach with power tools. After finding out he has cancer, he realizes people don't really appreciate being alive. So what does he do? He builds crazy traps that make his victims fight for their lives, hoping they'll crawl out of it saying, "Wow, life is precious." Kind of like a super intense motivational seminar with more blood. Jigsaw's whole deal comes from his belief that people have lost all meaning and just drift through life. He sees everyone scrolling, complaining, or being bored, and thinks, you don't deserve Netflix until you value breathing. So his games are his way of forcing people to wake up. Painfully, sure, but effectively. What makes John Kramer the real Jigsaw is that he's not in it for revenge or fun. He honestly thinks he's helping people. He doesn't see himself as evil, just brutally honest about how much people waste their lives. Later imitators got it all wrong, but the original Jigsaw, he's the guy who turned tough love into survival horror, one trap at a time. Amanda Young, the first apprentice. Amanda Young is one of the most fascinating and tragic characters in the Saw universe. She starts out as a drug addict, trapped in one of Jigsaw's earliest games, the terrifying reverse bear trap. Somehow she survives it, and instead of hating Jigsaw for nearly killing her, she believes he saved her life. Talk about Stockholm Syndrome on steroids. From that moment, Amanda becomes Jigsaw's most loyal follower, his student, and in many ways, his emotional mirror. But Amanda isn't a cold, calculating mastermind like John Kramer. She's emotional, impulsive, and full of pain. In Saw X, we see a softer side of her. She feels sympathy for one of their victims, Gabriella, who reminds her of her own struggles with addiction. That's the thing about Amanda. She's torn between cruelty and compassion. She wants to believe in Jigsaw's life appreciation therapy, but she also can't let go of her anger and trauma. Over time, her loyalty cracks. She starts designing traps that no one can survive, breaking the very rule Jigsaw built his philosophy on. It's heartbreaking because she wants to make him proud, but doesn't really understand his weirdly twisted wisdom. Amanda shows that even monsters can be broken souls trying to heal, desperate to find meaning in a world that hurt them first. Mark Hoffman, the Enforcer. Mark Hoffman is the definition of power gone wrong. He starts off as a regular cop, a guy who genuinely wants justice, but can't stand when the system fails him. After his sister is murdered and her killer walks free, something inside him snaps. Instead of letting the law do its thing, Hoffman decides he'll be the law, judge, jury, and, well, saw blade. That's when his story really spirals. At first, he copies Jigsaw's traps just to get revenge, but Jigsaw finds out, drags him into a real game, and instead of killing him, recruits him. Hoffman learns Jigsaw's rules of no emotion and giving people a chance to survive. But the thing is, he never truly believes in them. He's not there to teach lessons, he's there to punish. As time goes on, he grows darker, more confident, and far more brutal, turning Jigsaw's code into something deeply personal. By the end, Hoffman becomes the total opposite of Jigsaw, obsessed with control, fear, and power. What once was cherish your life becomes his own cruel version, do what I say or die. It's wild, tragic, and kind of poetic that the man who wanted justice ends up becoming the monster he once hunted, all thanks to a little megalomania. Dr. Lawrence Gordon, the survivor surgeon. Dr. Lawrence Gordon is one of those characters you think you've got figured out, until you don't. At first, he's just a serious workaholic doctor who's too busy saving lives to actually live his own. His marriage is falling apart, his daughter barely gets his attention, and he's having an affair with a medical student. Then one day, he wakes up chained in a filthy bathroom beside a stranger, and everything changes. That's Jigsaw's doing, of course, and it forces Gordon to face the parts of himself he's been ignoring for years. What happens next is wild. Gordon's pushed to the edge, cutting off his own foot just to survive. It's gross. It's horrifying, but it's also kind of the moment he finally feels alive again. That's exactly what Jigsaw wanted. And instead of hating him for it, Gordon actually ends up joining him. After Jigsaw helps him recover, Gordon becomes his secret helper, using his medical skills to design traps and patch people up. Unlike the other apprentices who totally lose it, Gordon actually gets Jigsaw's point. He believes in the idea of teaching people to value their lives. When everything falls apart later, Gordon steps up, calm and collected, to finish Jigsaw's work. He's not a monster. He's the one who finally understood the lesson. Logan Nelson, the forgotten apprentice. Logan Nelson wasn't always a killer. He started out as a medic who wanted to save lives, not take them. But one small mistake changed everything. While working at a hospital, he accidentally mixed up John Kramer's x-rays, which caused John's brain cancer to be found too late. That slip-up could have gotten him killed, but Jigsaw saw something different in him. Instead of punishing Logan, he saved him and taught him his twisted philosophy about valuing life and facing consequences. After leaving Jigsaw's side, Logan went to war and came back a completely different person. He'd seen torture, death, and pain, and it left deep scars. When he finally tried to build a normal life again, tragedy hit him even harder. His wife was murdered by Edgar Munson, a criminal who should have been locked up. The cop who let him walk free? Detective Halloran, a man known for bending rules and protecting the wrong people. As a medical examiner, Logan saw the results of Halloran's failures every day. That's when Jigsaw's words, "We speak for the dead," came back to him. He created his own games, manipulating evidence, planting Jigsaw-style clues, and finally trapping Halloran himself. Logan's revenge was cold, calculated, and absolutely final. William Schenk, the Spiral copycat. William Schenk seemed like your average rookie cop, as he is polite, helpful, and maybe a little too eager to please. But underneath that calm smile was someone completely different. This man was not just solving murders, he was creating them. Behind the badge, William was the new Jigsaw, or at least his version of one. When he was a kid, he watched his father get murdered by a dirty cop, and that moment broke something inside him. Growing up, he saw how corruption in the police force went unpunished, how bad cops kept getting away with everything. So when he got older, he decided to do something about it in the most twisted way possible. William copied Jigsaw's methods, but changed the message. Instead of cherish your life, his games were about payback. Every victim was a corrupt officer, forced to face the pain they caused others. He didn't believe in second chances like Kramer did, and his traps didn't leave room for survival. He worked right under everyone's noses, faked his own death, and even tried to convince his partner, Zeke, to join him. For William, the whole motive was about sending a message. That justice, real justice, comes with blood. Jill Tuck, the keeper of the legacy. Jill Tuck is one of the most important and most tragic figures in the Saw story. Long before the blood and traps, she was a kind-hearted doctor running a rehab clinic called Homeward Bound, trying to help addicts rebuild their lives. Her motto, "Cherish your life," was actually inspired by her husband, John Kramer. The two shared the same goal, helping people, but had very different ideas of how to do it. Everything changed when one of Jill's patients, a desperate addict named Cecil, broke into her clinic and accidentally caused her to lose her unborn baby. That single moment shattered both her and John. Jill turned inward, trying to move on, while John spiraled into anger and despair, the pain that eventually turned him into Jigsaw. Their marriage fell apart, and Jill was left behind to watch the man she loved become something unrecognizable. Even after their divorce, Jill remained connected to John's world. He trusted her with his final wishes, leaving her a mysterious box of instructions. Following his death, she tried to carry out his plan, even putting Mark Hoffman, Jigsaw's rogue apprentice, through his own test. In the end, Jill couldn't survive the chaos Jigsaw created, but her actions proved one thing: she was always the heart behind the horror. Detective Eric Matthews, the rogue cop. Eric Matthews was a cop who thought he could do whatever it took to get justice, even if it meant breaking the law himself. He framed criminals, beat suspects, and planted evidence. His life fell apart, his wife left him, his son Daniel drifted away, and his career went down the drain. Then, Jigsaw decided to teach him a lesson. Jigsaw kidnapped Daniel and put him in a deadly game with the same criminals Eric had framed. Meanwhile, Jigsaw told Eric to just sit and talk with him. If he stayed calm and followed instructions, his son would be safe. But Eric lost his temper. Instead of listening, he attacked Jigsaw and forced him to lead the way to Daniel. What Eric didn't know was that Daniel was already safe. The whole game had taken place hours earlier. When Eric arrived at the supposed house, it was a trap. Amanda, one of Jigsaw's followers, knocked him out and chained him in the same filthy bathroom from the first Saw movie. He managed to break his foot to escape, but was captured again later. In his final test, Eric tried to change. He even stayed alive to protect another cop. But when that cop failed his own test, Eric's trap activated, and 2 huge blocks of ice crushed his head, ending his story for good. Eric Matthews thought he could control justice, but Jigsaw proved otherwise. His obsession led him straight into the trap he couldn't escape. The Saw universe is full of twisted killers, but when fiction moves beyond this mortal world, evil takes a new form. Just like the Insidious universe, where demons don't need traps, they can kill your soul instead. Let's explore every demon in the Insidious universe explained in 10 minutes. I'll see you there.